Before I get started with our talk tonight, I just want to make sure that everyone's video and audio is okay. Can you just comment in the chat box if you can hear me and see our screen so that everyone's on the same page with our speaker later. So please comment in the chat box so I know that we know our webcam and our sound is working. Okay, thank you. And for those who are trying out our chat box and you haven't introduced yourself yet, feel free to mention where you're from and what kind of work you do, just so that we get a better feel of everyone in the room tonight. It's the next best thing to being physically together after all. And I hope you're all having a restful and quiet Thursday evening. The week is going by so fast. Great. We have somebody from Milan, Italy. Wow, welcome. Welcome tonight. We've got a doctor, Doctora Rachel from Olongapo. I'll try to read some of your comments, guys, just to make sure that we're all in the same page. Riza is it Riza or Riza? Anyway, from Leyte, a college teacher. We have a physician, another doctor from Marikina. Osang is a medical insurance specialist from Pateros. We have Ronald, who does CSR from Lapu-Lapu City. And Woody, who's from Tacloban, hotelier. Bedith is from Binyan, Laguna. She's a veterinarian. Lito is a manager from Cavite. We also have Alex, who's a business process manager from QC. Susie, who's a math teacher from Olongapo. Hi, how are you? Irish is from Cebu. She's a logistician. So we've got a very varied group of people in tonight's meeting. And we're all here together to learn from our speaker. Feel free to keep typing and we'll get back to that in a bit. But for some of you who are very new to this webinar, this is called Career Crash Course. Each week we talk about a different book on business or leadership or managing people or mindset. And throughout the lockdown, we've been covering topics that people can use in improving performance, whether they're working from home or dealing with adversity. And tonight, this is very special for us because for the first time ever, we're going to have a two-part webinar. So tonight is going to be part one. And then next week, Thursday, also at 8:00 p.m., we'll continue with the sequel. And our book for tonight is called Virtual Leadership. And rather than going through the book, I don't know if you have the time to read these days, but if you do, good for you. But if not, what we do is that we have a guest speaker each session to cover with us the juicy parts, the special insights that you can get from this and apply right away in your job. And tonight's talk is also organized by Syzygy. Syzygy is a leadership search and development organization. We train and coach professionals who want to be in business for themselves. And one of the important things in being in business, obviously, is leadership. Usually when we think of leadership, we think of a boss who's giving orders. That's just one form of leadership. Another kind of leadership is virtual leadership. What that is and what is required to be a good virtual leader, that's going to be the topic of our guest speaker tonight. Some of you were invited personally by him, so I'm expecting a good number of IT people tonight. He is actually the founding chairman of the National Association of Data Protection Officers of the Philippines, or NADPOP. I hope I said all of that correctly. So that's a very big thing these days. Every company needs to have their own data privacy officer. and he's one of the people behind that association. Very important guy in that organization. Our speaker is also a two-time president of the Philippine Computer Society. He also used to be connected in the academe in places like Ateneo, FEU, and the Asian Institute of Management. He also used to provide human resources consulting for Manila Ocean Park. I wonder how Manila Ocean Park is doing these days. Maybe the fish are taking a big break right now. But at least for now, we'll talk more about virtual leadership with our guest speaker. And if you have any questions, you feel free to type in the chat box. But at least for now, I'm going to call on our guest speaker. He's going to take over the session for now. Everyone else will be muted. Let's welcome our speaker on virtual leadership, Sir Titus Manuel.
How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, Titus.
Oh, great, great, great. So it's a very nice evening. I'd like to be able to finish this one before 9 p.m. tonight so that you guys can hit the sack as soon as possible. A very interesting subject matter we're going to cover today simply because it is probably the most, the book is nothing new. It's something that we're looking forward to as a matter of fact that the timing is everything. There was a time that this kind of book will just float around in the bookstores, and all of a sudden it became a big hit because of what transpired in the last couple of months. And the book is called Virtual Leadership, and the guy or the lady who actually wrote the book is this lady. I hope you can see her. That's Penny Pullan, is the director, project works at the UK company. She has done projects for Rolls-Royce and the UK government also. So ang focus talaga niya, ang kanyang expertise is project management. And she's also a chartered engineer. So the book actually covers a lot of issues, but the reason why we're going to break it up into a couple of days is simply because there is too much information that we cannot put it together under 45 minutes. Pag-usapan natin basically yung 5 essential leadership skills right now. You probably have seen this one before.
Oh, hi, Titus. Can I just interrupt you?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. Titus, I've allowed you to share your screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So just go ahead and just share your screen with us.
Okay. Okay, I'll do this time. It will be clear. Okay.
Yeah. We really appreciate your enthusiasm, Titus.
Okay.
Yeah, he's shared with us in the past, and it's really nice to be learning so much from him. The excitement is just infectious in a good way.
It overwhelms me. So sorry about that one, guys.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Let's do this one a little bit better this time. There you are. You guys can see it right now? I hope you guys can see it. Oh, great. Okay, let's start again, basically. Let me backtrack a little bit. That is the lady that is supposed to be the writer of the book. The book has been floating around the National Bookstore for quite some time. Nobody bothers with it until something happened along the way. It's called coronavirus. You probably heard of that crown right now. So that's the issue that we're focusing on. And the most important part about that issue is something like this one. Also, it is, the lady is a project manager. And let me clear my screen a little bit here so that the guys can actually see you. There you are. So I can see you guys better. That is the lady, that's Penny Pullan. She is a project manager, a chartered engineer also. And she has done projects for Rolls-Royce and the UK government. I'm going to talk about the subject matter called leadership. You probably have seen these slides before. This is something not new to you. The basics of leadership is focused on 5 parts. You must be able to communicate very well. This is number 1. The other one is your creativity. It cannot be just you cannot be just an ordinary person because you're going to lead a group of people. You have to be motivated. You are not going to get there because of motivation. You are motivated already. And you always give feedback to the institution or the group of people that you're handling. And finally, you must be positive. Now, the question is, anong difference niya with what basically is yung virtual leadership? That's always been the issue. Kung meron na tayong traditional leadership, does it make a difference from virtual leadership? You guys take a guess. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. What's the difference? Here it is. You have virtual teams. You have remote workers. All of a sudden, that changed the picture. By the way, we fought for the work from home program in the Congress maybe about 10 years ago, and nothing seems to work until they decided to create the law, the telecommuting law. We thought that was great, but it was not designed to be able to solve the traffic. It was designed to become a telecommuting law. We thought that was okay. So that was the issue there. So right now, because when everyone is forced to go and work from home, all of a sudden, we found ourselves being rushed sa bahay, tinampakan tayo ng computer, and everything is actually said and daily, and everybody is reporting to someone that you cannot see on a daily basis. That's how we're working right now. By the way, let me warn you, yung bad tradition leader makes the worst virtual leader. Because if you are bad when it comes to tradition, it's going to make it worse when you become a virtual leader. I hope that, anong ibig sabihin nun? For you to become a good virtual leader, you must be a good traditional leader also. The other part, anong ibig sabihin ng virtual teams? It's a group of people that relies primarily or exclusively on electronic forms of communication. They work together, accomplishing goals. That is basically the basic definition of what a virtual team is. It's also geographically, organizationally dispersed workers brought together by IT to accomplish one or more organizational tasks. How many of you right now are working from home? I'm going to assume 99% of you guys are working from home. I like working from home. If your meeting is at 9 o'clock, you can wake up at 8:59 and you're still going to make it in time for the meeting. That's how pliant or loose about working from home is. The other part is, anong virtual leader? Someone who manages a team with individuals who telecommunicate or telecommute or work from other locations. Please do not mix and match telecommute with work from home. A telecommute is not necessarily mean you're working from home. You can be working in Starbucks, that's telecommute. You can be working from a UB Express or on the MRT train, that's still telecommute. But when you work from home, you work from home. But the thing is, telecommute and work from home can be the same based on where you're working at. What role do you play? Now, ultimately, you also become a leader in your own organization. So what do we do? By the way, this is what a virtual leader does. Influence, educate, and collaborate. Yan lang ginagawa niya eh. He makes sure that the influencing part is critical because the distance is there. Ang problema ng isang leader is you cannot email a handshake. You cannot also transpose a smile. It's difficult to be able to move around and work with people na hindi you're not able to touch. You must be able also to educate and train them. And above all, you must be able to put these guys together as work as one team. Anong primary ang virtual leadership functions are? Right now, dalawa lang yan. So far, dalawa lang siya. Let's take a look at it one by one. The first one, so there is this one, team efficiency. You make sure the team is efficient. Clockwork efficiency. How do you know that one? We will talk about that issue later on. Ang importante is also maliwanag ang goal ng isang grupo. You cannot just disperse everywhere and not everybody knowing what you're going to do. Ang importante also is no matter how much program you actually put in place, ini-improve yan along the way. It is like a pilot. Pag nawala siya sa course, ang ginagawa niya is to change the course so that it will arrive at the same airport. So there must be an improvement. The goal is never changed. And finally, in scope of work, equally distributed yet among your virtual teams wherever they are. There are always issues. Ano bang difference ng training and education? Ito, very simple siya. Training is about answers, about how to do it. Pero education is about questions, why in the world we are doing it. So I hope you guys are understanding it also. Meron simple definition of education and training, pero I'm reluctant to say it. I will say it anyway. If your child comes to you and tells you, Mommy, we had a sex education today, and that the child comes back to you, say, oh, that's great. But when your child comes up and says, Mommy, we have a sex training today, that becomes another issue. So you see the difference between the two, and it's really between the moon and the stars. The other part that virtual leadership does is to take a look at this one: train, empower, reward, and educate. Cycle yan. There's no beginning and there's no ending. Some people says it starts with training because your job is really to empower and to empower people by training them and transferring the technology to them. There's also the issue of reward, and finally educate them kung ano nakalimutan na at hindi nila nagagawa. If you belong to our team, which actually yung CCG, this is common to us. We do this every day. We train people every day. We have webinars every night, as a matter of fact. So tomorrow we'll have another one. We may have a break on Saturday and Sunday, but we're going to have one every day, at least one day in a week na meron kaming pahinga. Working with virtual teams, ito na isang issue dyan. How do you work with teams? Isa pa, anong benefits niya? Guys, anong pinaka-benefit ng work from home or telecommuting or virtual working? Ayun po sa economics. We realize this one. Itong issue pala yan. Did you know that if you put someone to work from home, ang take-home pay niya lumalaki? Totoo, hindi. You actually increase the salary of the person without increasing the salary. Kasi lumiit yung gastos niya eh. I realize I spend about, if I go to Makati and then attend our training program, I spend about 1,000 pesos easily in one day. Pagkain, gasolina, nagbibihis pa ako. I have to travel a long period of time to be able to get there. And by the way, I live in a Baliches. It takes, under normal circumstances, about 6 hours every day. Ganun kahaba siya. Sometimes I sleep longer on the road than on my own bed because grabe ang traffic sa Mindanao Avenue and even sa EDSA. So the economics is there. The other part is convenience. What else can I say? There it is. Ang response mo is mabilis. That is also a problem because ang feeling ng boss mo, you're 24/7. That becomes an issue. It's also friendly to the bones because you sleep longer. Don't you realize well, when you're confined to a house, you really sleep longer. Meron is easily accessibility. About on Tuesday, I had a meeting, Monday, I had a meeting from 8 o'clock in the morning hanggang 9 o'clock ng gabi, all webinars. And I told myself, my God, I'm killing myself. I'm supposed to be time-bound and at home. But I had webinars after webinars. It's a good thing I was not conducting everything. But at the end of the day, I was really found out. Ang tawag dyan, burnout. The speed, yung satisfaction is also great. I realized mas marami ako nagagawa kasi hindi ako pagod eh. Yung travel time saps your energy. Pagdating mo sa isang meeting, you have to catch your breath. It takes about 30 minutes to be able to get your bearing again. So that's the reason why in our meetings, when we meet outside, if you come on time, you're late. Yun ang rule of thumb namin eh. So you have to be in the meeting at least 30 minutes early so that you can actually have a pick-up time. You can relax and still be involved in about 30 minutes time. The other one is flexibility. Importante ito. If your job or occupation or profession or the layout is not flexible, forget about millennials. Because yan ang hinahanap niya. It's basically doing something that within your time bound. There's such a thing as basically, saan pa? Meron mga tao na morning person. Are you a morning person? Ako talaga, effective ako sa umaga. Pagdating sa late in the afternoon, I am pumped out. I somehow along the way, I still have energy today. But the thing is, some people are night persons. So when it's difficult to force someone to perform something at peak level, kung magkakaiba ka ng time sign, kung magkakaiba yung timeline ng time zone ng isang tao. But flexibility is the key there. The other part, kaya lang meron challenges from working from telecommuting. You know what those guys are, what that is? The first one, tech glitches. My God. How many of you have been, nakikipagkwentuhan ka bilang really knowing na wala na pala yung kausap mo. It happens to me so many times. Then someone after text me, sir, hindi namin na kayo marinig, hindi namin kayo makontak. That's a big issue right now. So in reality, when you do a training program or say a webinar, it's a good idea to someone to take care of the tech part. And you concentrate on the content. Otherwise, you're going to be stressed out to the max. Ulitin natin siya. It might be a good idea, like in this case right now, my wife prepared everything for me. Between us, she's the most technical person rather than me. I would rather concentrate on the content. By the way, Jen is my back. You are not going to see her. She's shying away from the picture. The first one is tech glitches. The other one is attention, please. Mahirap kunin ang attention ng isang tao. Pag nasa AIM tayo, I can catch someone else's attention by approaching the person. Kasi alam ko natutulog yun eh. O kaya iba yung concentration niya. But in my case, I cannot see if the person is actually viewing Facebook or doing something else unless I have a tool that actually is installed in the computer of that person where I can monitor the performance ng tao. Pero mahal yung tool na yun eh. But if we're just starting that tool is not available. So how do we get the attention of the person? The other part is information overload. Again, since then, in most cases na nagkaroon na ngayon, walang policy and work from home program. Nabigla lahat eh. All of a sudden, there was an announcement na lockdown, there is no reporting for work, there is no place, nobody goes to the office, you have to work from home. Pauwian ng computer, walang policy. And everybody was grasping on straws. At na-overwhelm ka. All of a sudden, you're the technical person and the content person. Mahirap pala yun. Especially because sometimes, lalo na pag hindi tumatakbo yung computer mo o nag-stuck o nawalan ka ng internet connection. The other part is burnout. Na-experience ko yun on Monday. I didn't realize you can get burnout by just sitting down. So ang sinasabi ng sistema is, when I was working at Manila Ocean Park, I created a policy na every 30 minutes tatayo ka. Ang ginawa nga namin, yung mga mesa nilayo namin sa CR para mas malayo yung biyabihin mo. You're forced to go to the CR, longer steps ka eh. Tapos, we actually advise you to take water every third. Pag dimingil ka, dapat iinom ko ulit ng para you're forced to stand up again. Nagalit sa akin yung boss ko. Sabi ko, sir, an unhealthy person is an unproductive person. Tsaka ang span of attention ng tao maiksi lang, anywhere from 18 minutes to 90 minutes. The other part is yung team bonding. Yan ang pinakamahirap. Like in this case right now, maybe we're close to about 100 people right now, maybe about 90. Ang problema is we come from dispersed groupings. Some of you actually come from the very technical people, some are not. So ang presentation ko today is something close to about what I call as least common denominator. I apologize to the guys who are techies, but I will speak in a language that will be understood by everyone because I do not know the entire educational attainment ng aking audience. So hopefully you will allow me to do that one. The other part is creating motivating culture for remote team and to boost morals. Since ang pwede rito mangyari is to be able to make that program as based on performance, not based on time. Bakit? The customer couldn't care less how much time you spend on the work. Ang importante niya is nakikita niya yung output. Meron siyang output. So the time is no longer a factor. But you have to work on with a time frame and with a certain budget. So how do you do that one? That's where the HR comes in. Dapat may series of rewards and awards yan. Tapos ang mga motivations mo and even mga awards comes in small pieces, not sa dulo. Hindi after 1 year, sometimes after 1 week. Like if someone actually has a task at nag 100% yan, then the person becomes a member ng Century Point Club because na-accomplish niya 100% of task. The other part is monitoring. Ito ang pinakamahirap. Oh, by the way, work from home is a privilege. Not everybody, if under normal circumstances, is given a chance to work from home because it's a trust factor. Hindi natin kasi alam right now because of the some of the tools available for monitoring is quite expensive. It's only available for the big companies, but if you're a company about 10 people lang, how do you buy such tools? Lagi sinasabi, sir, ano unahin ko? Payroll o yung monitoring tools? Siyempre, uunahin mo yung payroll. Bahala na how to monitor. So you're going to rely on trust of people. I will explain why the skill of a person leader is far more important than the tools available made for you. For the simple reason that you cannot legislate all the rules. It's virtually impossible. Pag dinagdagan mo yung rules na yun, it becomes complicated. Nobody understands it. So dapat ang rule to be that guides everyone as a work from home program is very, very simple. The other part is traits anong effective ng virtual leaders? Anong effective traits ng virtual leaders? Ang first one siya, a leadership begins with me. Lagi yan. It always begins with you. If you cannot lead you, you cannot lead anyone. So important yan. How do I begin with myself? Let's take a look at the other issues. By the way, this is the most important part of the sessions because this talks about you. I'm going to assume everyone in this room is a virtual leader. The first one is respect. Pag respetado ka ng member ng team mo, never mind the rules. They will not break the rules even if you're not watching. Pag hindi ka na-respetado, mapapagod ka, lagi mo hinahabol eh. What is respect? It's not imposed, it's nor begged, it's earned and offered. Kaya the HR qualification now for virtual leadership has changed. Ang focus niya is more on the EQ of the leader, not the IQ. Because the virtual leader is not supposed to do the work. It's supposed to be able to taga-kompas yan ng musician. That's what he does. Ano isa pa na? The mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open. Dapat open-minded yung tao. I always advise the guys, you do not have the monopoly of all the brilliant ideas in the world. Sometimes it's nice to become humble and tell your guys, I do not know the answer to that one. That's the reason why you guys are actually here. And when you are open to them and telling them that time, by the way, I always, when I was working as advisory council on PNP, lagi ko sinasabi ko to, my biggest asset is I'm able to find people who are better than me. And I always spoke also that issue that you have to find people who are better than you, but they who are who have the stability of a person that you're looking for. The other part you're looking for is integrity. Meron ba kayo niyan? That's a kind of question that we will also reflect back in our second session on May 7. Ano ibig sabihin ng integrity? Is choosing your thoughts and actions based on values rather than personal gain. You always talk about basically ano ba ang values ng organization. By the way, if you do not understand what your values is, forget about virtual leadership. Because your integrity is walks ahead of you. He is also at your back. He is all over you. So importante siya na importante na meron ka integrity. Ano pa yan? Fairness is, ito, please look at this one, what fairness is giving all people the treatment they earn and deserve. It doesn't mean treating everyone alike. Nagbago yung understanding natin of what fairness is. Ulitin natin siya. It's giving all people the treatment they earn and deserve. It doesn't mean treating everyone alike. If it's clear from you right from day one that you're being fair to everyone, I'm treating you is because you have been more become successful in our programs or projects. We're helping a lot of people too. The other part is empathy. Sabi niya, seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. That's empathy is. If you are not a mother, and one of your team members is a mother, please realize the child that she is with has not seen the mother for quite some time. For the very first time, ang nanay nasa bahay. Nagugulat yung bata eh. So take time to be able to make some adjustments. Hindi yan click lang na lumipat yung nanay sa bahay and everything is the same. It's not the same. So if the mother or the worker, the remote worker understands na meron kang empathy, believe me, that person will work harder than the usual. Kasi nakita niyo eh, pwede pala yan eh. The other part is in definition of self-confidence. The ability or the belief to believe in yourself to accomplish any task, no matter what the odds are, no matter the difficulty, no matter the adversity. The belief that you can accomplish it, self-confidence. The self-confidence can be seen to your eyes. You cannot lie, by the way. If you want to be able to find out if the person is confident, cover your mouth. Bababa ko na yan. Cover your mouth. Just look at the eyes. Are the eyes confident? You look at the person's picture. Tingnan mo siya, are the eyes confident? Because the mouth can bug you around, but the eyes couldn't lie. Importante yan. So importante is, people are like dogs. Sorry to say that way. Because they can smell if you're afraid. They can smell if you do not believe and you cannot fool them forever. They will smell it and they will understand it. You have to have big patience also. Pinanggit natin yan kanina. The capacity to accept or tolerate delays. There will be one. Trouble or suffering without getting angry or upset. Bakit importante yan? Because just remember, the media or the medium change. The parameters have also changed. The stress is there. The quarantine period I most likely will be extended until the end of May. Sana hanggang end of May lang. And when people come back on office in June, things will not be the same. The work from home program will actually be carried through for a lot of institutions. Bakit? Pwede pala. Pwede palang gawin yan. They realize maraming comfort levels ang pwedeng to work from home program. Ang bravery is also importante. Anong definition ng bravery? Is waking up every morning and fighting the same demons that left you so tired last night. That is a great definition of bravery. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Alam mo na yung pagdadaan ng tomorrow yung problema kahapon. Are you willing to face it with renewed experience? Or even with a renewed energy? Ang isang advice na pwede ko mabigay sa inyo, if things, you cannot find a solution to something, lie down and rest for a while. Don't force it. You lie down and rest for a while. You'll be amazing enough. The answers will come to you. Or sometimes you have to go to the toilet to be able to find the answer. To me, it works all the time. When I start working in the morning, late in the afternoon, nothing is working. What do? I drag myself to bed. I do not even sleep. I just lay there. And you realize you're able to accomplish more than as usual. Now, ano bang isang role ng isang virtual leader? This will make or break a virtual leader, yung virtual meetings. Marami tayo niyan eh. There are very few rules about how do you manage a meeting spells the difference. Kasi pag nasira ang meeting mo, sira na yung araw niyo. Sira na yung project niyo. Because the meeting was designed to be able to cover an entire week or even an entire month. So you might as well make sure that your virtual meeting works. Ang ibig sabihin niya, anong first one na kailangan mong tignan? The first one, how to lead insanely productive virtual meetings. Ito, nothing fancy, look at this one. Do we really need one? Kung hindi mo kailangan meeting, huwag mo nang ituloy, maski naka-schedule yan. Kasi you will find yourself staring at each other's eyes on Zoom. And you're just doing this. Kasi bakit tayo nag-meeting? Kasi meron tayo nakasatang meeting. Pag wala, huwag yun nang ituloy. But at least naka-calendar siya. The other part, meeting agenda, maliwanag yan right from day one kung anong gagawin mo. Now, you leave a spot at the end na sabi other matters. Doon mo ilagay yung mga additions that will actually come in. Yung meeting agenda, doon mo siya lalagay. Klaro yan, that means it's clear for everyone. Ito ang pwedeng pinakamahirap na susundan nyo. Pag hindi kailangan, huwag mong paatinin. You are not looking for warm bodies. Nakalagay sa rules, no role, no entry. Pag hindi kailangan sa meeting, huwag mo nang tawagan. Kasi nakakaawa, nakakaya sa tao manonood na anong kailangan mo, taga-palakpak o taga-ayot, taga-okay. Kung ang trabaho, kung ang role niya is to be able to listen because importante subject matter, meron siyang role. Pero kung wala siyang role doon, whatever it is, huwag mo na imbitahin. Ito, no more than 90 minutes. Paano kung talaga mahaba? You break it into 90-minute groups. Ang sabi nga nila, 90 minutes might be long. It may be, if that's the case there, at 40 or at the 40th minute, you break for 5 minutes. and then you can, or maybe 10 minutes, and then you continue to the 90 minutes, and then you take longer breaks. Habang humahaba yung meetings, dumadami meetings, lumalaki yung mga breaks in between. So that our people are able to distinguish themselves na pwede palang gawin. Now, also, if you're running conducting a training program, ang break time mo, listen to this one, guys. Ang break time mo, lunch time is 12 to 1:30. Bakit ganun kahaba? Para they can still do work between 1 o'clock and 1:30. So that when they come back to you, ang focus nasa iyo na. Okay. There ba? Ang isa importante pa is yung people management. Wherever you are, especially if they are dispersed, meron dyan na talagang troublemaker. That's one. Meron dyan na grabbing of attention. That's two. Meron mga tao, kung mga kaibigan ko, katulad ng kung mga kaibigan ko, kaibigan you realize, yung mga yan, hindi kumpletong araw hanggang di nakakakontra. Yun ang style nila eh. So when we have a meeting like this one, they will just open their mouth just for the sake of opening their mouth. But they are the right times to be able to make sure that you are able to manage people very well. How do you do that one? Pag meron kang alam na meron troublemaker sa grupo, before the meeting starts, kausapin mo na yan, upuan mo na yan. Para mayroon kang kakampi. It is normal procedures in any people management as far as meetings are concerned. Now, no matter how much you plan, things can still go wrong. So you have to prepare na dapat nakaprepare ka na meron just in case it doesn't work. Ang ginawa ko kasi, in-email ko kay Ryan yung aking PowerPoint presentations. In case my internet shuts down, I can call him and just tell, and I can use my phone as a voice, and he will play the video or the PowerPoints. That was my second options. Because I do not want to waste everyone's time going to the session dahil namatay ang aking internet, hindi kayo makagalaw. Kaya ako in-email yung presentation ko kahapon. Now, meron tayong questions. Which benefit of working is important to you? Paki-arrange this lang 1 to 4. Arrange this according to your liking. The one that ang feeling nyo should be number 1 and the last one will be at number 4. First one, it increased productivity. Second, less stress. Third one, greater work-life balance. And the fourth one, reduce commuting costs. I will give you about a few seconds to be able to find this out. If you're ready, thumbs up lang. Are you guys ready? Sige, let's see this one. According to survey, here it is. Increased productivity is number 1. It is a misnomer na mababa ang productivity pag nasa bahay. That's not true. Pangalawa is yung less stress. Bakit? Kasi stressful yung pagbihis. Lalo sa babae. Ang dami mong damit sa aparador. Pero sinasabi sa husband mo, wala akong masuot. Eh, ang dami nun. Nakaka-stress yun, di ba? Tapos yun, tapos na, hindi mo lang, like me, I am colorblind. So I leave it to Jen to be able to figure out anong bang bagay sa polo shoot na to. And she does it for me. Now, yung greater work and life balance is the next one, yung color green. Bakit? You sleep longer. I'm going to assume you have slept longer, kaya medyo tumataba kayo ng konti. And finally, you reduce commuting time and money. Kumpitin mo kung magkano na-save mo from the time you actually were locked out and you realize lumaki yung take-home pay mo. I have another set of questions for you guys. Here it is. The most common challenges, you pick 3 guys. The most common challenges. Yung number 1, the lack of training, the lack of experience, the difficulty with motivation, difficulty in managing project, availability of technology, overcoming distance and time zone, and others. You pick your top 3. So far, so good, guys. Lack of training, lack of experience. Anong challenge ng working from home or telecommuting or virtual work? Okay. So you pick your tree already. Let's see it is. It is arranged the same way. The lack of training is number one. So please keep that in mind. That's universal, by the way. If you're doing a virtual, you have virtual teams, important is that people are practically trained. It's not learning, it's not on the job training. Yung lack of experience skills with technology comes number two. Kaya yung, butin lang yung Zoom at yung either like yung Skype is easy to understand. Yung motivating and engaging is number three. So there you have the percentages there. I think I'm almost done with this. Oh, by the way, meron mga meets ang virtual teams. Sabi nila, these meets are not true. Virtual team members can be left alone because they're self-motivated or they have their own directions. By the way, that's not true. When the cat is away, you know what follows after. The mouse goes astray. The number two is virtual team members cannot be trusted. If you're trustworthy, your members will trust you. Kaya importante yung trust factor. Pag mataas ang prestige sa'yo, mas mataas ang tingin sa'yo, there's not enough pros that you actually need. The other part, I can't manage, coach, mentor what I can see. That is not true also. Because meron now ways to be able to manage or mentor everyone, even if they're virtual, even if you have never met that person. The complexity of technology used by virtual teams is greatly exaggerated. That is also not true. Also, it is true. It depends on the technical background of a person you're working. I'll never be able to learn all of the technology. Believe me. Tama ang nanay ko. Lahat ng bagay na pag-aaralan, it doesn't really matter how bad you are with technology. This is not rocket science. You can learn it. Building trust is relatively unimportant in the virtual environment. Excuse me. Number one yan. Because you cannot legislate all the rules. You have the trust factor that comes in. Good virtual team leaders are well traveled. No, they don't have to be. They can be confined in one space. They don't even have to move from their own apartments or rooms. They can still handle anyone, any part of the globe. I'll never see the people who I work for me. You will at some point in time. Okay. In summary, let's make this one very quick. The number one is actually building team trust. Never forget that trust is the most important part. Number two is you find a fresh mindset. Your current mindset will not do. You have to educate yourself. The virtual leadership and virtual teams is a different ball game that you have to work with and handle. What's the remaining other three? You start with yourself. Make sure that you actually you understand yourself. Know thyself is the rule of virtual leadership. If you don't know yourself, your people will never know you. Anticipate diversity. Not everyone will be the same. So you have to anticipate this issue. And finally, look beyond the tech part, because this is really beyond technology. Expansion technology, everything is actually there. Now, how do you lead yourself? Develop a new mindset. That's number one. Number two, examine your own trends and habits. Number three, be more a facilitator than a manager. So you are a conductor, you do not manage people. You create a healthy work environment in which every member feels appreciated and engaged. Importantly, appreciated and engaged. Believe me, if you forget someone to greet happy birthday, you're dead. It happened to me. So I know it seems very simple na, nakalimutan ko lang birthday, excuse me. You do not forget people's birthday. It only happens once a year. End of part 1 tayo. What do you expect sa part 2? Ryan, tutuloy ko na to. There's one slide remaining. Okay. What do you expect in part 2? This is the more critical part because in part 2, magkakaroon tayo ng virtual leadership self-assessment. Are you a virtual leader? Will you pass for one? Anong critical skills for virtual leaders? Lalagay na natin next time around, we're going to talk about a few concepts on data privacy. On the law, and hindi siya technical, what a leader should know about respecting people's rights and privacy. The other part is about the technology, about cybersecurity. We're going to talk about, because you have to understand something also. finally, na-identify mo yung gaps. How do you close the gaps? What do you do so that you become the virtual leader that their people expects you to be? Oh, if you do not work on this one, you do not deserve to become a virtual leader. Be just a follower. What's a virtual leader? The moment you have one person with you, you are now a virtual leader because you're now working with a team. Sometimes you have to manage yourself first. So I'm done for the day. I am not sure if Brian will allow some questions, but the thing is, I hope you learn something along the way. It will become a little bit heavier the next time around. By the way, the next one is May 7th. By the way, before I leave the state, before I give it to Ryan, I would like to invite you tomorrow. Kasi continuity to eh. Yung practical applications, actually what we do will come tomorrow. Our program is not only about building character. We also want to make sure that you have money in the pockets. Because how can you be charitable to other people if you're a charity case yourself? You're preparing for the next pandemic that will actually come. It will happen, hopefully not in your lifetime, but you're preparing yourself from some future tasks and for you also. So I'm done. Maraming salamat po, and I give the floor back to Ryan. Maraming salamat, Ryan.
Titus, thank you so much for sharing your time. Talagang you're speaking from experience and with a lot of wisdom, and you were able to compress it in around 40 minutes. Thank you. I think we have time for 2 questions. If you want to just type your question. Is that okay, Titus? We'll
Yes, please, go ahead.
let people
Just
field 2 questions.
30 seconds time.
Yeah. Let me check our chat box. Just read the comments and see if we have any questions. This is your time, guys. Titus is normally a very, very busy guy. So if you have any questions about what you saw and heard tonight, this is your chance.
The more normal question that has been asked for me is, meron mang formal training on
Abigail, there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Titus, we have one question from
please go ahead,
from Abigail Comandao. How do I ensure that my students are still focused on the meeting? They are IT students.
Meron, unfortunately, meron niyang tools. Yun ang importante doon. Because that, simply because, by the way, like for example, I give an exam online. Pero I use tools that basically can lock someone else's screen. Pakikita ko yung mukha niya kung ano ginagawa niya. Ano yung keyboard niya nakalock. Wala siyang magawa, hindi siya maka-search. So Abigail, meron tools yan. Maybe if you can send you the tools, paano? I don't sell the tools, but they are available online. So that's the way you. How do I know if the students are following me? You give an exam at end of day. Sasabihin mo lang, meron tayong exam, lahat yan makikinig. Pag bumagsak kayo dito, bagsak na kayo. Ano yan? Tapos sabihin, right minus wrong yan, Abigail. So yun, takutan lang yan. They will listen to you. Marami yan.
Yeah. See, Titus used to be, you've taught in different places, di ba, Titus?
Yes.
So, both students and employees.
Yeah.
So he knows all the tricks of the trade.
The most difficult students, Ryan, are the brightest ones.
Okay. So maybe you were one of them before. That's how you knew. Iba yung wise sa wais. We can still field one more question for anyone who's pretty curious for tonight. Don't be shy, and you can just type your question there and I'll read it out for you. I'm also showing on the screen the sequel. Titus did mention this. Next week, Thursday, just free yourself up for 8 p.m. Titus will continue his discussion. And if you like what was talked about tonight, then chances are you'll also enjoy what he'll talk about next week. We've got one person asking Titus, Abby Ko, but Abby, yes, it will be the same ID and password, Abigail. Yeah. I'm just going to duplicate this webinar and it will be the same meeting ID. So just save it. Okay, Abby Ko is asking, Titus, how do we control toxic people, like very irate people? We've all known people like that who refuse to cooperate. What's your take on this, Titus?
Um, Difficult people are hurting people. John Maxwell yun eh. If you empathize with that person, by the way, the worst thing you can actually do with someone like that once is to scold the person. You're dead. Pag pinagalitan mo yan, everything stops. You try to understand the person. Empathy. It's a long process. But the worst that you can happen also happen is you scold that person in public. You're dead. Patay ka na dyan. You're not able to gain that person's confidence. So, lalo na kung webinar yan, you talk with that person first, maybe about 30 minutes earlier. Give that person importance. Naghahanap na ng importansya yun, attention yun. Parang yung mga pets natin, yung mga aso at pusa, kalabit na kalabit sa paa. Kasi naghahanap ng attention. Parang yung mga bata yun eh. The principle is the same. There's nothing magical about it. Kailangan talaga yung third eye is there. You can feel for that person. I hope I answered that first. It's a long process, hindi yan nakukuha in one sitting.
And you told me before, Titus, that when you can empathize with others, when you can understand where that pain is coming from,
Yeah.
you told me that that's where you make that connection. And that's not technical expertise anymore, diba?
Oh,
Yeah.
Tama, Ryan, that is the key. Difficult people are looking for understanding.
Yeah.
Mahirap
Thank you so much for that question, Abby. I want to sneak in a third question and then let's call it because nagkasabay yung dalawang questions eh. And then we're just going to wrap it with that. This is from Jim Eric Tibayan. Jim is asking Titus, if somebody in the team has performance issue, is it effective to do performance review virtually? So any thoughts on this?
Yes. The answer there is yes. Meron tools yan eh. Maybe siguro pag on May 7, it will become more clear. Naunahan mo ako eh. Kasama yan dun sa sa May 7. So, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Sasama ko yan sa discussion sa May 7.
Yeah. We have a lot of other questions, Titus. What I think I'll do is I'll save these questions for next time. And for those who are asking, is this webinar recorded? Yes, we're recording this right now. And we're going to publish this on our Syzygy website. You can get it from the link from your friend. But thank you everyone for the wonderful questions. And if you know Titus personally from Philippine Computer Society or from NADPOP or his other workplaces, you know him very well in those areas. He's really an amazing guy, and we learned so much from him. And maybe you can ask him more questions during your next get-together. So once again, next Thursday, we're going to have part 2 of virtual leadership. And like what Tito said, even if you're just leading one other person, you're actually a leader. And many of us, in fact, are leading ourselves during this lockdown. Nobody else is compelling us, forcing us, we're just comfortable at home. So we need to find the motivation to lead ourselves. So that's happening next week with the same meeting ID. We'll just duplicate this. But Titus also mentioned that tomorrow evening, there will be a different topic of a webinar. Syzygy, we're the organizers of this. We have different educational talks each night, and we want to be as productive as possible during the lockdown. So tomorrow night, we're going to have a different topic called Bouncing Forward. This is not going to be a talk by Titus anymore, but he usually attends this with everybody else. Bouncing Forward is a talk on what's happening with the world today. What are the business trends? Who are the winners? Who are the losers? How can you, working from home, maybe tap into some of these trends and create income from things like digital commerce, for example? and we're going to talk about a business project that we're launching. And you're welcome to come. You'll see there in the screen. The date is also 8 o'clock, like all of our webinars, and the meeting ID and password is there. Take a screen cap, or if you're invited by somebody else, you'll get the link, and you can log in tomorrow night for that. That's free and open to everyone. We'll have a nice discussion, and somebody as capable as Titus will cover it and share their thoughts. And rather than bounce back and try to make things go back to the way things were, that's really impossible now. We're faced with a new normal, and let's be proactive and bounce forward. So with that, maraming salamat, Titus, for sharing your time, your insights, your expertise. And to everyone else who's been attending tonight, thank you for your presence tonight. You made this so much more richer. We had at one point 100, I think 120 attendees, which is really amazing. I think, you know, it's so nice to get connected with all of you wonderful people. Have a great evening, guys. And we won't end the meeting yet, but this is it for us. Maraming salamat, guys. And if you want to continue chatting, feel free to do so. My name is Ryan Fernandez, and this has been Career Crash Course featuring virtual leadership with Titus Manuel. Thank you, everyone, and God bless.